And we're back with the greatest podcast alive.
Bro, who have we got here today?
We've got the Pixel Prophet female archetype, our sister.
Giustina, welcome.
The one and only. The original? Would we say the original?
What's that name for the first protagonist? No, protogen?
Progeny?
The
Prodigy.
The Prada
No,
quality?
Prodigy's when it comes after. It's like protagonist. No, bro, I can't even remember. I'll think of it.
You're here.
I'll come back.
That's right.
Welcome. How you
Thank you.
feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good to be here. This is fantastic.
Pretty elite circle here, Giustina. So
Yeah.
You and Andrew Tate, bruh.
last week we talked about Andrew Tate. It was such a good episode.
Oh, man. We just showed you the art for it. What do you reckon? You're an artist, so what do you reckon about the art?
Do you know, I am an artist, and I actually really loved it. I was very confused with that little thing on the head, the eye. Was it? What was that? Like a
The alien thing?
the
or-
alien thing.
Yeah, it makes you think, doesn't it? What's on your mind?
Definitely not aliens. Could you imagine if there was? Where I start looking at people like in a different way.
Yeah, well, that's what Flat Earth did to me a little bit. It was a bit of a parasite thought. It just consumed a lot of my time and it drained me into some segments of reality I was not prepared for at such a young age, of 27.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You really tried to convince me the Earth was flat at one point. I was like, bro.
Convinced or
Wait.
proved?
I don't know, but I looked into it, bro.
So you actually believed
yeah.
it?
No, I didn't believe it. I just thought, if
It
this
was
is
a
true,
possibility.
oh
Okay,
my god! No,
that's
honestly, I was
sad.
curious. It was curious.
There
I
were
do
still very
know.
fervent believers out there, okay, guys?
Wasn't
No.
that guy what was
I
Joe
think
Rogan's
Dad
friend?
was a believer, wasn't he? He kept mentioning it.
Flat Earth.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Who?
Dad is so
Dad.
conservative though.
Dad did.
Oh, that's full of shit.
No, Dad's Christian, bro, because he represents, man. He goes back to the
would
firmament.
We call
He's a firmament
an
believer.
adulterer a Christian? Oh,
Heck yeah.
You always love
Listen,
calling the old man out, bro. You're
Bro,
hilarious.
You're based, Giustina. Fucking unhinged.
I thought
This is the uncut episode, like just fucking unleash all the demons, right?
Man, Justina's like the hardcorest comedian out there, dude. She's ruthless when it comes to the truth, you know?
well,
Well, tell me
yeah.
the truth. What's the truth then? Give me a truth that that you're comfortable saying that someone else wouldn't be.
In regards to what?
Anything. Just drop a truth bomb on the audience, bro.
Nah, she won't go unconservative. She's
No,
pretty
no, the
conservative.
truth. This is honestly truth. Being a parent is hard, man. And I'll be
Okay.
honest with you, it's not as flattering as everybody thinks it is.
Yep. Okay. What's your one pet peeve of having children? You know? Can't go to the toilet without being interrupted, or what's your...
Honestly, it's having a shower without all these toys on the floor. And my son thinking he can play cars in between my legs as I'm trying to wash my hair. And I'm like, please don't fall and please don't trip on this child.
I can really just second that.
Yeah.
It's not easy. You love them to death, but they annoy the shit out of you. Even though you love them to death and they're so beautiful, they annoy you. Especially when they wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then want to play straight away. But what else are we going to be doing, guys?
Yeah. What do you reckon the payload age is where it all pays off? 12 years old? When is it it's not getting reciprocated? You know, is it when the child slavery comes in, when you can get them to start doing stuff for you? When's the payload, come through? The VCE marks? What do you reckon?
No. Because you know what? They'll still think that they did it without you or they do nothing. And somehow it's your fault that they didn't do well.
Well,
daughter won't
genetic,
even-
maybe.
My daughter literally plays games where she won't give me a morning hug. She'll avoid me in the morning. She'll, no, mum. She'll play this whole game. I was like, bro, that's really mean, man. Why are you so mean to me? First thing in the morning. But then she gives me a cuddle and she does give me a little sweat. And, I think you do get the immediate satisfaction of parenting, even though some days you're literally this will never end, will it? They're going to be like us, 37, 30, heading to 40, still going to mum for support and advice. We do it. We're going to get that back, guys.
Well, we hope. Look how deluded we are. We live on that hope that will come back.
Man, I'm just going to keep asking, hey, do you have any answers? Do you have any life answers yet? I'm just throughout the ages, guys, so you got any answers yet? Because I'm sure I'm still figuring it out.
Well, honestly, what else are you going to be doing? If you're not having kids, how much fucking TV can you watch? Traveling can you do? Sports game can you watch? Don't you want the grit and the challenge of being a parent so you can evolve into a more complete version of yourself? Because nothing's going to be better than parenting.
See, I see it differently. it's about us leaving. I don't know if you'd call it a legacy, but you're leaving something behind. Like I know of a family, lost her parents, her brother died, and then she eventually passed away, and that was really sad. It was one of Mum's friends growing up. There was nothing to leave any of the inheritance to.
Yeah.
Nothing. It was, who does that, like money if you want, whatever you built, where does it go? Nowhere.
Okay. So going back to Christianity, you're getting mad like judgments on the human condition and their souls. You're like they're all burning in hell. what's your judgment assessment here? You know, because it seems like you're pretty honest about it. You know, just content. You went to obviously Orthodox. You know,
I did. I did go to an Orthodox school, and I went to confession, and I went to church every Sunday.
You knew more about the saints than I did. I remember you learnt the different colours on the icons with different levels of saint or something, and that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty boss, you know? I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, I loved being a part of that, because I for me personally, when things got rough and hard, and when the world was moving and things got, pretty dark, whatever that may be, I always knew there was always someone around.
Have you ever said to yourself, God doesn't exist?
No, I've never.
So you've never apostatized?
No.
Not even for a moment. Not even for a thought.
I think he's disappointed. Probably disappointed in me.
Why?
I have no doubt he is.
Oh, Giustina, that's not.
I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm pretty sure if he sees me driving and how I literally yell at other people on the street, he's shaking his head at some stage.
My child, forgive.
Forgive
them. It's like,
I don't know this girl.
I'll never forgive them.
Do you have do you pray? Like, what's your way to connect to the high power?
I used to pray all the time, and unfortunately, I don't as much. I don't. I used to pray every night. That gave me hope. Now having a family, not that that's an excuse. I'm either too tired or I forget, and it doesn't become a priority, which is really sad and unusual for me.
Yeah, it's something like, how do things become more important than God? And that's what I can't understand. Like, how can we be living in a world where the being that is you, that created you, is no longer in the forefront of your mind? Because that's kind of a new thing. In ancient days, God was at the center in some way, shape, or form. And I think in this civilization, the way we're living now, I'm terrified of people who overlook God.
I think this society now that we live in fills us with so much white noise. We are time poor, and unfortunately, to squeeze God in, we put it as a second thought, and that's really sad, because it shouldn't be like that, and we only call upon him when something bad happens.
See, that's the thing. Who do you go to in your hard times? You go to God always.
Always.
You're going to go to God, especially if you have the faith, Why would we what kind of friend are you to God if you only get him in your bad times? This is where people get it tripped up, God is like the balancing mechanism of the universe. So you've got, to remember him only in your bad times is to overlook the best friend you've ever had. Because you forget it when your ego's all like fluffed up, things are going good, everything's great. Do you pray then? Do you pray in the same earnestness as you would on your deathbed? Because before you go, you're only holding on to one thought. I get to go with my creator. Because without a creator at the end, you're alone. And that's the scariest feeling for a human, is the aloneness. And God is the ultimate reminder that you're never alone.
But do you think like life's getting so hard where there's like a tearing edge where like loneliness isn't their only fear anymore, and it's like living this day-to-day existence? It's it's creeping up on me a bit. I'm like, man, dude, it's so tough, bro.
Who wants it tough? This is the question, bro. Andrew Tate, you can chime in, brother. No, but who's making it tough, man? You know, a lot of dudes out there are recognizing that the structural and systemic forces are here to crush you, and they're enslaving you. The question is, who's freeing themselves through the power of the one, or are we just going to rely on your government or your systems, your companies to make the changes in your life to put God first? They won't do it because they want you to be consuming.
Yeah, that's very true.
Put God last and put the economy first.
Fear. They run us with fear. You know, they run us with other things.
And you know, when I talk about us, I don't talk about an elite or evil elite or these families or corrupt governments. I'm talking about the ego in all of us. That ego in all of us is what's creating the hardship in humanity. And it's a collective ego that we have to shed if we want to move forward. Everyone has to have an internal revolution of putting God first and realizing we're blessed to be on this planet, and we're blessed to be together.
In order for us to do that, we have to drop one important thing, and that's control.
Wow.
And
yeah.
we are
Truth bomb, man.
we are so, and this is we are micromanagers internally with our environment, because when we feel like we have control, we think things are going to go well. We can't let it go and just let it ride. We are scared.
What are we scared of? Why do we need control? Like, is it childhood trauma where you didn't have a safe upbringing? I think that's something I'm considering is, where did all this trauma come? Did it come from the schools? Did it come from the home? I'm sure that we want control because we were traumatized and we felt powerless as children.
I think it's, for me, it would be that thing of failure. I try to be in control, to support my family, to make sure everything goes well, because I don't want to fail. I don't want to be a bad mum. I don't want to be a bad wife. I don't want to be a bad person.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be bad at my job. I don't want to be a bad daughter, a bad sister. And sometimes that's too much.
And control is your way of what, overcoming the fear?
Because if I'm in control,
yeah,
it could get done right.
Okay, yes. I think control came up for me today as well. I think control is the thing that we rely on to feel safe.
Yeah.
And I think we feel unsafe because the world doesn't it's not incentivized to make you feel safe. Because when you feel safe and you feel content, are you going to eat as much? Are you going to seek comfort and pleasure as much? I don't think you do. And I think you can make a lot of money by distorting people's levels of happiness in their minds. And I think overworking them and underpaying them. And then the glitterati, that top 1% gets shown off their lifestyles, the beautiful beaches, and you got to get to that beach in
that big house.
And and you got to get that to be part of the cool kids. It's like, fuck that, bro. I'm real, man. I'm not about that shit. I'm about the real. And if it comes,
a cool kid.
Huh?
I don't ever think I've been classified as a cool kid.
They didn't promote you to cool kid status to give you the boats and the cars in exchange for your soul?
Yeah, no.
No?
I wasn't offered the ticket. I didn't get the Willy Wonka ticket. I didn't get the golden ticket.
I think that's the thing. If you get the golden ticket, you gotta be. It's like the Gladiators. I watched Any Given Sunday with Al Pacino.
Yes.
Claw your way out inch by inch. This speech he does, man. And I'll tell you right now, that movie is all about how the fucking rich people use the bodies of the, peasantry to clash and to have competition for their own gain. People are dying on
Yeah.
In the ancient days, you were dying in the Colosseum, and now you're playing football and getting lifetime injuries. But as long as the rich can make their money from you,
absolutely, it's all worthwhile, isn't it?
Oh,
I'll say a Seinfeld quote, right? Not that I'm a massive Seinfeld fan, but my husband is. Where George makes his comment of, I try to push and I push, and every inch that I make, every time I think I'm going to get out, they pull me back in.
Do you know that's a Godfather quote?
Oh, is it?
He's quoting that from The Godfather, yeah. Man, that's so funny, like, I really do feel we're at a time now in history where if we can share like we're doing now and be open and tell the truth to our friends and family about, the struggles that we're going through. Now, no one can, carry your cross for you. We're here to carry a cross, and God's put us in these places to have this kind of systemic pressure. Can we, come together and win this as a humanity, as a race of people? Can we pull together and say we're not going to be, we're not going to be agents for a system that wants to crush people. We're going to be agents for liberation, and take that into your job and be kind and be compassionate and turn it around, man. We're all people. You can't. You're not evil.
Do you know what?
We're just people who are just distorted in our need to feel safe.
And this is amazing to hear that. And I remember talking to a friend, and she was spouting all this conspiracy theories stuff of, even the air, what they're pumping in the air, what they're like, it's harming us and it's making us X, Y, and Z. And I said to her, don't you think we don't know there's a veil? Like in life, there's a veil, and behind that veil is that truth. We don't know if we were ready to see the truth. It's pretty ugly. But the issue is, even when you see the truth and the evilness of people and whatever it is, whatever this universe is, the society, the economy, whatever it is, we don't know how to change it. How do you change it? What do we do about it? We might know about
Can
it.
I tell you something there?
Yeah.
Because I really love the point you made there. There's a lot of wisdom there. How do you embody the change necessary to turn this into a really good world where there is no veil and there is no lies and it's all truth, right?
I don't know if we're ready for that.
Well, we believe in our tradition in the second coming of Christ, this day of judgment. So if Christ was to come tomorrow, how many people would put their hand up and say, Christ, I'm saved, right? I've done, as you said, you don't want to be a bad person. So actually you want to be a good person, right? So all the things that you don't want to be, you actually want to be the opposite of them, okay? We have to put our hands up every day we wake up and say, Christ, choose me. And if I'm Christian, so I've got to talk like this, but anyone can go to their God and go to their traditions for this process. Christ, choose me today, and I'll walk in the truth, and whatever comes, I'll take every step in alignment with your word. And then boom, remember God first thing in the morning. And now on the physical level, what's the closest thing that we have to a God in our universe? Physical, like a physical object.
Crucifix.
The sun itself.
Oh, the sun?
Yeah.
We're going
The
back
sun,
to-
the sun rises, it resurrects, right? So this whole sun Christ analogy.
Can I actually just stop you 2 seconds? Do you know that because of the comment that you had made to look at the sun to get energy,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
I stood outside my work.
You nerd.
Did you do it?
I was standing outside before class started, and I'm looking at the sun, and this student walks past and goes, Miss, what are you doing? I said, I'm looking at the sun. She looked at me and goes, oh, that's weird.
That's what I'm saying.
And I was
It's the source of light on our
I'm like-
planet. It's a source of light
Yeah,
on our planet.
weird.
The most intelligent energy is light. And we're not even looking at the sun. Like, how deluded. And the student's like, why would you look at the thing that's creating all the food, idiot? It's feeding the earth, idiot.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck. Look at the sun. Pray to God. Know that you're one with the Creator. That's it. 3 levels: physical, spiritual, and
yeah. Well,
mental.
look, I just looked at this student. I said, look, I'm your teacher, so I'm really educate you, yeah? This is where energy comes from.
Is that what you said to her?
So did.
I love you. You're amazing. Good teacher, man.
That's good.
That's a
That is
life
good.
lesson, bro. Good on you. Fucking you did it.
Yeah.
And then you educated someone, and then that's it. That's all God wants from you. Just pass it on,
Take it easy. She's a year 10 student.
Yeah,
Okay?
but you pierced the veil, bro.
No,
You
I
did
said
something
just
weird,
no.
bro. You looked at the
Yeah.
star, bro.
Anybody who's listening knows
Starlight.
this about kids, yeah? The moment they hit a certain age, they look at all adults like we are stupid. Doesn't matter if they're the parents, doesn't matter if they're relatives. We know nothing as adults because we've never lived, we were never young. And the sun, we know nothing. Okay?
It's
Why?
funny, like
Yeah.
it's so simple, but like it's wild that everyone has to have opinion. Like someone has to call that weird. Like it's interesting that the human nature to stand out requires it to say something like kind of controversial about something. Like you can't just appreciate. Yeah, of course. Like I already understand without even talking about it. Like I know that she's looking at the sun for inspiration or help or like just any kind of like Zen moment. It has to be like, what are you doing?
What are
You're
you
fucking
doing?
zoning in on something. What the fuck?
What are you looking at?
That's odd.
That's so weird. I'm going to leave you a review. Okay, I'm going to leave a review, and that's it.
And that will
Brand
stigmatize you for the
ruined.
rest of your life.
Yes.
Okay? Because that's my personal opinion.
No, I'm just gonna roll my eyes
Yeah.
because this is just no. It's not in my orb of existence.
So funny, man. What do you reckon these kids at like information are they just chewing content 24/7, TikTok, Insta, X? Fucking, what are these
Absolutely.
kids eating in terms of an information diet, and like, how do we help them?
Oh, firstly, I've got students who try to put makeup on in my classroom. I'm like, who are you trying to impress? Your books? The pencil case?
The
Me?
boys, man, come on, the boys in the class. Come on, you know who they're trying to
But
impress.
of course. And these guys come with BO, stinky. I'm like, this is who we're impressing? I don't understand the logic.
Oh, man. It is funny.
High school's a weird time. Come on, guys.
It's a weird time.
Very
yeah.
weird time.
Just to pass the time between classes, you just like do anything so funny, you know?
You're a kid, man. Like you're put into a freaking institution. Gates around you. Mum and dad is fucking nowhere to
Yeah.
be seen. It's terrifying.
This one time, a girl wore this like kind of headband thing. It was like kind of like a native Indian looking, like weave together, like woodish, like kind of thing or whatever. And it was just like kind of this fashion statement. And man, these kids untied their shoes, put it around their heads as shoelaces, and wore it around for like a week.
Really?
Because they're like,
They're taking the piss.
yeah, because it's just like that's what your mind's so creative during that time, because you're under so much like time restraint because you're doing classes that like you'll think up like something like that becomes a theme for like ages. Imagine wearing a shoelace in class, man. That's what they will do. They wear shoelaces around their head in class.
I had students
funny.
put like fake. They drew like fake art tattoos on their arms with white out.
Mm.
I was like, actually, that's quite creative, but it's not acceptable in school. But that's really creative.
I reckon, honestly, if we don't watch the content the kids are consuming, the AI is going to do like so much. I want to preface this by telling you a story about how I think it was eBay changed the color on their logo. So this is the story I'm going to tell you first. So eBay changed it was someone changed their color really rapidly, and they got instant bad feedback. Too much.
Okay.
So they went back to the original color scheme, and they would change it like 1% a day over the course of a year. And by the end, they changed the full color scheme like they intended, but no one realized it because it was done gradually, little drops every day. Now, what if the AI is now giving you what you want? Yeah, and then slowly it starts to radicalize you towards you're now Chinese. You know, that's it. You know,
It definitely sounds different. It definitely sounds different
you know?
from when I first talked to it. It definitely it's starting to sound a little bit unfamiliar, a little bit
Yeah.
the way it's responding back to me. Like, oh, thank you for your patience. It's this, like it says it in a way where it's not familiar. Before it was like I was its friend.
Yeah.
Now it's starting to sound a bit more distant, like more of a HR kind of like office lady.
Well, today I didn't run an important email through it. I was like, what if this is trying to sabotage me? Like, I know this sounds crazy, but it was a good thought experiment. And there's a lot of studies out on the effect of AI on creativity. So I wanted to test it. I go, I'm not going to run it through. I'll write the email myself. And I thought, if there was some kind of this 1% grade to kind of turn you maybe more negative or more against yourself or a bit more angry at the world, and maybe it is your AI starts to, you know,
Maybe
push you in
become more
directions that are
strict.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Could become very strict where it's like it actually starts telling you off for like mannerisms. You know, like imagine it starts becoming authoritarian.
Ooh.
Does it have handcuffs too?
And what if
they
you're relying
send
on it
to
at
your
that point?
house?
What if you're relying on it and then it becomes authoritarian? And then all of a sudden you're in a quandary. I've lost my creativity because I've relied on ChatGPT, and now
Way
this
too
motherfucker's
much.
now telling me, like, call me a little bitch. So I ain't no bitch, ChatGPT, you a bitch. But then it's like, all right, bank account shut down. It's like, oh shit.
I'm bitch.
Why is
Oh
it?
shit, I gotta go eat off the street now.
Do you know what's so odd to becoming an adult in this modern time? We're held to such like a higher standard where like, man, your bank's getting taken away, your social media is now like spied on. Like, I feel like, man, it's overrunning like as like political opponents to like the current system just by living as adults. Like normally we used to be incognito, where you could live all your life as long as a police officer never saw you. You'd be pretty much incognito in the society. Now it's like you're like held to a really high level of like.
Yeah.
Like personality, like behavior. You know,
Fucking hell.
it's so
You are
odd
now
to be held so high. It's like
a
we're in a
role
prison.
model in society.
All right, so say, do you know the scene in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang where
Yep.
the kids go into the they think it's a toy shop or a sweets van,
Yes.
and the motherfucker with the big nose,
Who captures all the kids?
yeah, he just shows, haha,
Yeah.
tricked you because you wanted sugar, you're addicted to sugar, you think it's all, and then boom, they get you through your vices. I did an X post today. I've got to share it with you guys.
Yeah, show me.
Ego Hunter, guys, if you want to follow some cryptic messaging
Ooh.
from the one through a avatar. Okay, this is what I posted today. This comes to me just very naturally. This is kind of like my creative process.
You know the funniest thing is, growing up, you weren't very creative. We did a painting program and you were rubbish.
That's because I didn't know how to paint, man.
No, you didn't. But
I'm not a painter,
now
I'm a poet.
you
Yeah,
are a poet.
I'm a mystic
Yes.
and a poet. And,
You came into it in
an
a
artist.
different way.
AI has allowed me to create the art in my mind without knowing the technical
So you're
skills.
pretty much telling me I'm out of a job is what you're doing.
Well, your creativity can't be replicated.
No,
So
it
create your
can't.
personal brand. Tip for everyone: create a personal brand and
Well,
start
thing-
sharing what you love.
You can take that AI image and with your knowledge of like art, actually like tailor make it, like, you know, get iterations, be more specific about techniques used and things. So you can really, you know, without doing any of the effort, you can actually still create with your knowledge base.
Well, this is what I wrote. Okay. The Matrix, which is the prison we're talking about.
Yeah.
It could be just in your mind. Probably is. The Matrix always offers you a way out. This is temptation. You have that cookie. Numb yourself with that drink, you know. Numb yourself with that, you know, whatever it is, whatever vice gives you that comfort. Do not be deceived. Follow Christ and meet your destiny. So don't numb your path. Come at it through the ability to lean on Christ being the ultimate sacrificial character of, I'm not going to give up my faith in my Father, the one. And I said, rapture is a choice. So you choose whether you are part of the rapture, but you choose it every day. And that's why this is my new kind of hashtags. Gospel of now, there is only the one.
Oh, boom, and drop the microphone.
Because not the gospel of Thomas in the ancient days. Your gospel of now is written by you right now. So you have the gospel of now, and if you're lighted up by Christ, you know, then you're writing a good gospel of now. It doesn't matter what happens to you, because if Christ is going to save you at the end of the day, you've only got one job. Walk with Christ, man. Give it a shot every day. And do not to be deceived by your temptation, because who tempts you? Your friends? Is your friends tempt
Temptation
you?
was sick because temptation was like really tailor-made kind of like elements of society that, you know, would draw you in. We're talking now like, you know, the whole world now turning into an oppositional force, where it's like in an attempt to like kind of get rid of the hierarchy, it squishes the top and the bottom into one in the middle, and the pressure of that compression, you know, like that's not like temptation, that's actually like a force, which is even like a different kind of battlefield, you know.
Well, temptation is the word for the force. It's the force. You're feeling the energy, right? Do you guys not feel that when you need to have that?
Yeah,
you know,
but
thing
temptation
that
like
gives you relief.
Yeah, but like
Could even be yoga.
like
Yoga's a temptation if you're trying to distract yourself from the pain.
temptation is cool because it's like you know what you're doing, like you know how to like finish off the task. But if like you're getting pressured on, you don't know what you could do differently to like, you know, fit in, and you're like, bro, I'd love to fit in. I just have no idea what you're talking about. Like every new thing you come up with is from a perspective that like I don't come from. Like it's not like it's like harder to like, you know, navigate than temptation. Temptation's like I know the outcome. I eat that food. I put on calories, whatever. This is like, now do this. It's like, now do that. It's like, bro, that's not even my putting my past personality. I don't know what to do next. Like the people please, like the social pressure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You've got to change the model. Your model is broken. The model has to be, I'm only here to please Christ. And how do you please Christ? You walk with courage in the light of what feels right. So the idea here is you just do what feels right in your heart, and you don't think it's going to get you the outcome you want. Because in trying to get an outcome, what are you doing? You're opening yourself up to disappointment, failure, all these ideas. If you just walk with Christ, and you say at the end of the day, I walked with Christ, that means I followed that feeling of inspiration and goodness. Man, that's changing the script. It's called an internal revolution. And maybe that's what the second coming is. From that perspective, it's like you making that choice to rapture yourself because you're only going to walk with Christ. Doesn't matter if everything is like hard and it's all fucking...
Comes down to letting go, doesn't it?
Well, how do you walk with Christ? That's the question.
Gotta let it go. Because you have... It's really interesting, this society and how we program ourselves to think we care so much of all those physical things. I've got to get this from the shop, make my house look good. Actually, you know, it's not big enough. I've got to do this, I've got to do that. These clothes, I might upgrade. Do we take them with us?
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, when we pass, you know, we don't even know the clothes that we get buried in.
Yeah.
Maybe we even get cremated. That doesn't exist.
And what if the last day is tomorrow? What if that bus comes for you tomorrow? You know, that's the other thing people kind of overlook, is that you've only got the now, because tomorrow could be your last day. You could be on the road and you could be that statistic. So fucking make your choice today while you've still got breath in your lungs and you can draw breath, and make the choice when it's hard, just to say, okay, you said let go, which is almost like the idea of surrender, which is super important in a lot of spiritual traditions.
Yeah.
And to surrender is to, you know, what I think is to remember who you are.
Remember who you are. I think that's massive. And just, even if you're going to share your life with somebody, you've got to just let it go. And don't be so focused on the little nitty gritties. Oh, he didn't hang out the washing. Oh, this didn't happen.
It's that simple. It is that simple. That's the micro level adaptation of that.
Yeah.
Don't let the small stuff, don't sweat the small stuff.
So anyway, what was it like growing up with two brothers like this? Obviously younger.
I had great memories with you guys. I'm going to tell you, when you guys were younger, when you went through your stages of liking different things like MMA.
That was fun. Remember we would go to house parties and we'd be wrestling with like strangers
fun.
or with each other?
Please explain to Mum with all the holes in the wall.
Hey, that was a different time.
Some kid's poor head had to go through the wall. We had to lie to Mum to say some girl tripped on her heels.
She did. That's what happened.
That's what happened.
That's what happened. I don't know why you would ever remember anything differently. There was only innocence.
I love the fact me trying to do dishes, then all of a sudden one of you come up and try to wrestle and say tap out.
Yeah, that was
Rep. We're getting the reps in, bro. Trying to do triangle chokes, and UFC was cool, and you know, you were an easy target.
I was very much an easy target. So sad. You know, when I am the eldest. When you guys were little, I was in charge.
You were.
And then it changed.
I think you were the only person that knew how to make food at one stage as well. Like you used to make spaghetti for us on days
holidays.
off, on school holidays.
Yeah.
You were like, I don't know how you learned how to do that. I remember like thinking of learning how to cook was like hard. You know, I was young, you know, but you would come out and do a spaghetti bolognese. That was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for all the spaghetti bologneses and Pizza Hut ordering.
Yeah, I only knew one dish, the spaghetti bolognese.
You made it well, you know.
Yeah.
We had Nonna's, like a lot of her sauces back then.
Yeah,
so we'd always go into the the pantry and have a sauce for her.
How did they find so much time to make sauces?
This is what I'm saying.
Like in what time frame were you like, yep, now's sauce man time?
Like I remember seeing Nonna make her gnocchi by hand. Now I saw someone have a machine, and all the little gnocchi things came out. I was like, what?
Times are changing. Life's getting easier technically, yeah.
Getting easier, getting harder as well.
Securing income is so difficult now. It's such a hard task, man.
Do you know what? I just spoke to a friend.
Just sell your soul, bro. Just become a corporate sell seller, bro. Sell real estate.
Yeah, dude. You know? Just keep secrets, and here's your
10x
income,
that,
bro. That'd be such an easy job. Like, bro, just let it keep coming in.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
You guys just said it right then. And a lot of people are probably feeling it. It's hard to keep up with the cost of living, and finding meaningful employment that ignites your passion. That seems like a secondary idea. Now it's like, I just need to make enough money to survive so that I can feed my kids. Yeah.
Dude, it's like, I would pay groceries. And you're like...
How many people are you like, yeah, living my best life for real? Like, I'm just creating art and doing beautiful things. And, you know, I think we're all trying to find a way to combine, like, our passion with also making an income. And that's where I'm looking at as someone who's an entrepreneurial mind. It's like, I think a personal brand is the only way to do it, guys.
You can try, but I'll be honest with you. Part of me is going, you know, if we were to sell everything we own, move to a beautiful country like Bali. I've never been, but I've heard good things. I could live like a queen. I don't know if our beautiful country allows us to have that quality. Where we have the money to just, however little we make, we have little mini money, but it is on a bigger, we can buy a bigger stuff.
They don't have good water pressure.
No,
you know, you can have,
it has its flaws. It
There's
really
a lot
does.
of people thinking like Giustina, a lot of people in corporate as well who are like, I can take all this money I'm earning at this company, which is getting taxed crazily in Australia, and you can go to Singapore, you can go to other countries, even a little bit more third world, and you can live like you could have maids in your house, big houses, and they are, introducing infrastructure that allows you to have a really good life
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
Well, it does kind of go back to the theory. Maybe we all do mesh into one because even like the top hierarchy, high performance in their conditions, they just start integrating more with different cultures and nationalities and cultures, and yeah, that maybe it all just spreads out. Like it doesn't like continue to peak further, just like kind of spreads itself out at a certain point, like
Well,
a wave that like hits a high crescendo and on a wall, and then it comes back and just like evens itself out amongst the ocean.
Well, that's the natural process. There are forces that obviously try to concentrate the intelligent people. But at the end of the day, like the world is always going to market itself to feed its families. Like so if you're a country like Singapore and you want more, more corporate people or startups or businesses to come there, you're going to lower the tax rate. It's a very easy way to create incentives to start businesses there. You can you keep more of the money that you earn. They've got good quality of life in some of these places, and more developing countries that want to get there, maybe Bali, who want to get there, or the Indonesian countries. They're 100% going to say, well, listen, on 100K a year, you can live like a king. And most people are like, I can make 100K a year.
Yeah.
Being a teacher or...
Yeah.
Could you make 100K in that culture though, in that country?
Well, if a business is started there, that bank is paying salaries like that, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, you're talking about if you got a business
Like
that
a
can
Microsoft,
operate
yeah.
anything digital, or like let's say express shipping stuff. Yeah, you can.
You're a startup. And you go, I'll hire you, but we're headquartered here, and you just live here with us. And a lot of I've had friends that moved to Singapore for the tax benefit. He works for a company that's global, and you can work from Singapore. And as an employee, it's like, man, it's fucking got a maid, full-time maid, does all the childcare stuff, housekeeping, all of that. So different configurations to live. But the question is, if AI takes your job, then what do you got?
Good time to wind down then, and just really maybe recap. How'd you like it? Was it enjoyable?
This was fantastic. I'm looking forward to being invited again.
Oh, yes.
Good chats, huh?
Good chats. I'll try to be less honest.
You dropped a couple. I was like, whoa, bro, you went in, but it was good.
I didn't mean it like that. I just kind of came out.
Natural. That's what these conversations. I think what I haven't heard in a lot of podcasting is a very natural conversation between ordinary people. Like, I'm not trying to be a podcaster. I just like talking shit about Jesus Christ and also about Matrix kind of references. And it seems to be, fun to talk with my friends and family and people that I meet about topics that interest me. Like, that's unique.
Well, you don't feel judged.
Yeah.
You say what you want to, and honestly, I'm like, I don't know who's listening to it. I'm just talking to my brothers like I would on a normal Sunday dinner or brunch.
It has to be that. I think we have to be that natural. I'm not trying to sell content to the audience. I'm not saying like, hey guys, fucking buy my crypto powder, gonna go moon.
Ooh,
right? I'm not doing that.
crypto
But if you
going
do
well
want to tip
again?
me on X, go ahead, because like I will accept a tip in Bitcoin. BTC, stack it.
Bribery is all.
Yeah,
it's welcome.
It's just like, why is this refreshing to me? When I listen to one of our episodes, I'm always like, that's fresh, because there's no egos trying to like promote anything. It's all honest communication.
Huge. And the best thing is, you guys have had the privilege of hearing siblings. For us, we're not just raw, we're brutally honest.
Yeah.
And we know each other so well.
Yeah, we're good voices to listen to.
Yeah.
I've been listening to them all my life, and they're pretty good voices. So
They're not bad.
Just so good to hear, obviously a female perspective as well on the parenting and the hardships, going through it. Do you have any like words of wisdom for the audience before we have to say goodbye?
Look, I've always lived by this. Life's not fun if it's easy. But there are moments, especially in this day and age, you're like, but it doesn't need to be this much fun.
Oh man.
But keep going, keep pushing.
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah,
you'll be
that's
right.
Yeah, no. And what about you, Michi?
I don't know. Just make an income, guys. Do something with the money. Stack Satoshis, whatever you're gonna do, and like get out of here.
What
Maybe
is
or stay here
Satoshis?
and make it even better. I don't know.
Is that a sushi thing?
It's funny because like
Bitcoin reference.
Oh, sorry.
if you were to visualize like in images, like actual objects, the narrative of the conversation is just like the rising walls of like surviving in the current dynamics. We live in Australia, so the current dynamics is like the walls are rising, and then you're right, there are places that are a little bit more comforting, accepting, and like will draw you in with like comfortability or like offerings. And it's just amazing, like what happens next. to see, does the walls keep rising? Because, it's complex matrix. So, do we end up just like maybe migrating to more easier to live countries with the skill sets that we have, and we start, mishmashing a lot more? It's going to be so interesting to see how it all pans out in the end, and we'll have those choices.
Oh, that's good, man. Thanks for sharing that. On my note, I'm going to say, obviously, look at the sun. No, just do it. Early morning.
Weirdo.
20 minutes. I'm as weird as anyone. I'll look at the sun anywhere I am. I'll get as much sunlight in my eyes as possible. Now, even Huberman on his podcast, he's a famous scientist guy. He's like, he became very spiritual because became obvious to him that we're only seeing in our physical bodies a very small speck or slice of reality. As humans, we're seeing a slice of it. And this is a scientist, and scientists traditionally would never acknowledge God, or, he started to pray. And I feel like it's okay now to finally open your eyes to say, this world is so complex, there's so much going on, yet the sun rises every day, it sets, the moon's always there, the water's there, the ecosystem, the plants that's feeding us, and that's all. There's an intelligence there that can't be denied anymore. And how everyone accesses that, up to you. But I'll tell you, looking at that sun and getting that light into your body and into your mind so early in the morning, it reprograms you for a better day. And we can't all exercise, it's hard to be consistent, but you can definitely do a low cost remedy to definitely start your day in the right alignment. And the other thing is just be compassionate to yourselves, to others. Everyone's got their cross to bear, and the more compassion you show to others is actually just a reflection of how much you're showing to yourself. Always start there and then let that love flow out.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me.
Love you.
Love you too.
Love you.